Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second interview in our series of European e-patients. Today, we'll be discussing access to medicines. Access to medicine is usually thought to be a US phenomenon because in Europe, most insurances cover medication across the board. Yet, with the economic crisis, we have seen this dynamic change. So, for example, there was a crazy situation that occurred in Greece earlier this year, where pharmaceutical companies held patients hostage by stopping supplying life-saving medications in a struggle that opposed them with health authorities in Greece. I have the great pleasure to interview Kati Apostolidis for you. She is also known as ePatient Greece on Twitter, and she's a leading health advocate and breast cancer advocate in Greece. Welcome, Kati. And could you please explain to us in more detail what happened there between pharma and the healthcare authorities in Greece, as well as what that did to the relationship of pharma and patients in Greece?
Thank you, Celia, for inviting me today to speak about pharma and patients in Greece. This is a rather complicated story, but I will try to make it simple. Pharma delivers medicines and medical supplies on a credit line. The Greek Ministry of Health, for many years before the economic crisis, did not settle timely payments to pharma, and this had created a long overdue debt. The overdue debt and unfair prescribing practices led to the huge expenditure on medicines during the last 5 years. Under the pressure of the economic crisis, the ministry took some measures to reduce the expenditure, and these measures included reviewing the pricing of medicines, the introduction and increase of share of generics, the e-prescribing, and the reduction of the profit margin of pharmacists. And finally, the timely payment to pharma. As the settlement was delaying last spring, two manufacturers, namely one that delivers diabetes medicines and one that delivers chemotherapy medicines, decided to stop deliveries. This move has created a big upheaval in the market because it did not take long before medicines disappeared and patients were scouting pharmacies all over the country to get a supply. The situation was even worse for cancer patients who get their chemotherapy drugs only through hospital pharmacies.
Wow, thank you, Kati, for sharing this with us. Doesn't look like that increased the trust between pharmaceutical companies and patients in Greece. It's actually to the contrary, it seems like it destroyed a lot of trust. Now, social media and e-patients, that whole relationship is built on trust. So would you say that right now this is an opportunity for pharma to use social media in some savvy way to reinstall that trust, or on the contrary, should they first rebuild that trust before they can even think about engaging in social media in Greece? What are your thoughts on this?
Celia, the answer is that definitely pharma needs to rebuild trust with patients and the society at large. Social media is just a tool, and each user should be part of a general strategy. If the strategy is missing, the tool cannot replace it. There is no online engagement of pharma in Greece with patients and society. And whatever is there is minimal and impersonal. Pharma posts neutral, very general information on their website, which is something that patients and people can easily find on other medical information websites. Regulations are one thing, attitude is another. If a pharma wanted, they could be engaging with patients. They could be frank, they could be open, they could be compassionate.
So what you're saying is that social media is just a tool, but if there's a genuine attempt from pharma right now to communicate transparently with patients, social media could be a great way to do so. So what are right now the opportunities you see for pharma to use social media in this economic crisis and maybe in an attempt to mitigate fears for further hostage situation in Greece?
First, pharma should abstain from using patients. Although it is recognized that health industry should be paid on time, the society and patients will never accept unethical practices. Pharma could help by following fair pricing practices and particularly for common, widely used medicines. They should try to communicate openly and frankly with patients and society. Pharma has the knowledge and the means. If they have also the will to be sociable, they will find their way. It should not be forgotten that health is social, and social is where patients are.
Thank you, Kati, for sharing this insight into the Greek market with us today. What happened in Greece is something that can happen in any European country at the moment with the crisis that we have in front of us. Access to medicines is psychologically a huge impact for patients in Europe because we never had to face this. And it's also a huge opportunity that today pharmaceutical companies can seize to position themselves as a partner of trust and to help and reach out to these patients. Right now is the moment to think about how you can use social media intelligently to be transparent, to keep up to date, and to mitigate fears that these patients might have about not getting the life-saving treatments they need. Thank you very much for listening, and stay tuned for further interviews to come.